So what's going on, guys? We've just had Dereck Chisora and Dillian Whyte, the Dillian Whyte fight. Dillian Whyte scoring an 11th round stoppage, brutal knockout of Dereck Chisora. It was a very good fight, very entertaining fight. Chisora started off like a train, hitting Whyte with a lot of body shots, a lot of head shots. And it looked like Chisora was really, especially early on, putting it on Whyte and beating him up. But Whyte was very intelligent. He was taking his time. Whyte hurt him in the first round. He hurt Chisora in the first round, but Chisora sucked it up. Joshua was very critical of Whyte not finishing off the job when he hurt Chisora in the first round. But Whyte was taking his time. I thought Chisora was doing, especially early on, I thought he was dominating. He was hitting Whyte with a lot of shots and he was beating Whyte. But then middle towards the late end of the fight, Chisora started getting tired. He started breathing heavier. His shots started becoming a bit wild. Whyte started landing a bit more cleanly. He looked like he was getting on top, Whyte was. And then in the 11th round, he landed that left hook, that honey punch, which knocked knocked Dereck Chisora out cold. He was out badly. It was a brutal knockout. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a brutal knockout. Dereck Chisora started off really well early on. He built a really good lead on two of the judges' scorecards. If I'm not mistaken, he was winning.
Yeah, he was winning the fight.
He was in the middle rounds. Chisora was the one that was applying the pressure. Dillian Whyte wasn't really throwing much. He was trying to counter punch, but I still had Dereck Chisora winning those middle rounds. I was even saying to my family that the thing is with Dillian Whyte, if he connects that left hook, he can knock you out. But he's not really a combination puncher. That's why he didn't get Dereck Chisora out of there in the first round when he nailed him with that punch. Whereas someone like a Joshua or a Wilder, someone that can put their punches together, would have probably knocked Dereck Chisora out in that first round. But that's not really, Dillian Whyte's not that type of fighter. Nevertheless, he still knocked him out in the 11th round. But as Joshua said, you don't get paid for overtime. So maybe Dillian Whyte needs to improve that part of his game if he wants to step in there with the elite three. But he still deserves a title shot. Definitely deserves a title shot now, because he's beaten anyone that Eddie Hearn's really told him to beat, and he's improved as a fighter. He called out Joshua at the end of the fight, and they had a bit of a back and forth, but we'll just have to see what happens, what's made and what's not, because we know with negotiations it's very tough, certainly for these big fights to happen. So Dillian Whyte may have to fight someone like a Luis Ortiz in the meanwhile, if Joshua does get the big fight against Wilder. But in my opinion, this fight was a very good fight for Whyte, because now it definitely cements his place now. He definitely deserves a title shot because he's knocked out some good people that don't get knocked down, so you have to give him respect for that.
I think Dillian Whyte showed a lot of maturity in there. He showed a lot of boxing ability. I thought Dereck Chisora did well, but I think Dillian Whyte had a game plan, and the game plan was to box smart, let Dereck Chisora blow himself out, tire out, and then start taking over in the middle to later end of the fight, and that's what he did. Most people thought that Dillian Whyte was a lot more intelligent than what he was the first time. He had improved a lot, and it definitely showed. I was really impressed. To be honest, I've never really been that impressed with Dillian Whyte, but today I was really impressed. For the first time, I must say I was impressed with the way Dillian Whyte fought. He fought very smart. He was very calm. He was fresh. That's the thing. After taking so much punishment, he was fresh later on in the fight. My dad actually said that Dillian Whyte looks fresh.
But that's the difference between Dillian Whyte and Dereck Chisora. You got to realize the grueling 2 years Dillian Whyte's had staying in the gym, staying as an active fighter. That's the difference when you come into a crunch situation. That if you're an active fighter, you can deal with it a lot better than someone that doesn't take training camp as serious, like Dereck Chisora. Although he had such a good training camp this time, it's not. If you're an active fighter, doing it training camp after training camp, you have a much more better chance in surviving it when you get into the championship rounds. And it just goes to show, Whyte took so much punishment, but because of his conditioning, he was able to, last the 12 rounds, and he didn't look tired at all, whereas Chisora was blowing. Because Chisora's he's not a yearly type of fighter. He had he had a good performance against Takam, and then he took the Dillian Whyte fight seriously. But one camp doesn't make you have to stay consistent throughout your whole career if you want to see results. And that any top fighter, Mayweather, he was a consistent fighter. He was always in the gym, year in year out. Joshua, consistent fighter. He's always winning. So if you want to get to the top, you have to stay consistently in the gym. You may not have to be fighting as such in the ring, but if you're staying in the gym, staying active, that I've seen it now, that these active fighters are the ones that get to the top.
I think Dillian Whyte now deserves a shot for a world title, whether it's against Wilder or Anthony Joshua. Listen, I feel for Anthony Joshua, because with Joshua, he wants to fight Deontay Wilder, and he said to Dillian, if the Deontay Wilder fight don't happen, then you're in line for a shot. But Dillian Whyte got a bit animated. He goes, I'm number one, and he started going at Joshua. But you can't listen. The fans want to see Joshua fight Deontay Wilder. They don't really want to see the Dillian Whyte fight.
Yeah, it's not. He's already beaten.
It's not that Dillian Whyte deserves his shot. But sometimes the heavyweight division is just in a certain place right now where people want to see Joshua Wilder. That's the main fight, right? And then the winner fights Fury. So Whyte's a little bit down the pecking order, because people don't rate Whyte as high as Fury. They don't rate him as Wilder. They don't rate him like Joshua.
But you have to realize now, Whyte's really he's put himself into a position where he's definitely top 4 now. He's probably the 4th best heavyweight in the world at the moment, if you look at it. Because I don't really know anyone at the moment that, if you were to rank it.
Personally, I think Ortiz is better. I think Ortiz is probably number 4. But who was it? I can't remember. But
then again, you have to realise, although Ortiz could probably beat some of these fighters that like Chisora, Parker, but there's a difference between saying you can beat them and actually beating them. Although a lot of people will probably say, yeah, Ortiz is a lot better, but you have to go in and prove yourself against those type of opposition, which Dillian Whyte has.
Yeah, but the problem is those guys don't want to fight him. See, the thing is, like,
I think if Dillian Whyte doesn't get the Joshua fight, he will take on Luis Ortiz. You got to realise he took this Dereck Chisora fight because of the money. It was because of the money.
Yeah, but he won't get that money in the Ortiz fight.
Yeah, but he'll still fight him if he has no other options, you see. Dillian Whyte's not a type of fighter.
Yeah, he is. To be honest, I give Dillian Whyte respect on that account, that he'll fight anyone.
Yeah.
He'll fight literally anyone, and he doesn't care risking his position. So it will definitely be risking his position fighting Luis Ortiz, because that's not Dereck Chisora. Luis Ortiz is very, very dangerous. But then having said that, Dillian Whyte's improving.
He's improving, but will he? My question will be in the Luis Ortiz fight. He could just potentially just get outboxed for 12 rounds against Luis Ortiz.
Because you got to realize Ortiz can crack as well.
Yeah, Ortiz can crack, but I can't see. The thing is, Luis Ortiz could just, because you got to realize, Dillian Whyte's not really a good combination puncher. He's going to have to be looking for a honey punch against Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is a very good boxer.
And he's got a good chin.
So for Whyte to beat someone like that, he's going to have to knock Ortiz out. I'm being honest. I think he's going to have to knock Ortiz out. With
Ortiz,
that left hand.
again, is somebody that's old, so he could tire, you see.
He could tire, and but the thing is, Dillian Whyte needs to know when he goes into that fight, the only way he's going to win is he's not going to beat Ortiz on points. I can't see him beating Ortiz on points. Unless Ortiz has a net mare on the day. But I personally feel that the only chance Dillian Whyte has against Ortiz if he knocks him out, which that is a possibility because Ortiz is old. But will that happen? I'm not. To be honest, it's a good fight, but I still favour Ortiz in that fight. I still have to favour Ortiz in that fight because Ortiz is a better boxer. Usually the better boxer prevails. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think guys, we saw a great scrap, great fight. The heavyweight division is live and it's alive. It's probably the best it's been in years. And you've got guys like Joshua, Wilder, Fury, Dillian Whyte, Luis Ortiz, Joseph Parker, Usyk now. There's so many. There's others. Gerald Miller. There's so many guys out there, and there's others as well. There's many others as well that are there, and it's exciting. Daniel Dubois coming through.
Joyce.
Nathan Gorman. All these guys coming through. It's very exciting times for the heavyweight division. There's a lot of fighters out there, and the heavyweight division is alive. And let's be honest, boxing if the heavyweight division is alive, boxing's alive, because the heavyweight division is the main division of the sport. Let's be honest. And right now, the heavyweight division is probably one of the best divisions out there. It's thriving. It's a great division, and all these guys need to start fighting each other. And we need to, like I said, I think the biggest fight is Wilder and Joshua. We need to see who's the champion. And I think if that happens next, that'll be good for the heavyweight division, because then after that, whoever wins that fight
will then go on to. In my opinion, this is how I think it should go. Fury's trainer, if what he said was right.
Yeah, he said.
What should happen is Wilder and look, Fury. Everyone knows Fury won that fight. Yeah. What should happen now is Wilder and Joshua should fight. The winner of that fight should fight Tyson Fury. It's as simple as that. It's a straight. It's a round robin. You see, everyone has to fight everyone. Yeah. If Wilder beats Joshua, then Joshua has to build his way back up. You know, the pecking order.
Dillian Whyte will eventually get his shot. He'll
eventually get the shot, but if Joshua beats Wilder, then Joshua will fight Fury. It's as simple as that. It's a simple equation, really. But it's not as simple to make the fight. Once the fight's made, then it's really simple, because whoever wins that fight then gets Fury again, and then whoever loses has to work his way up or whatever he wants to do. But we'll have to wait and see. I think it's going to be very tough to make those type of fights. It's like very hard, because everyone wants more of the pot. You got to realize it. That's how. Certainly, like Tyson Fury's promoter, Frank Warren's already stated that he's not taking less than a 50-50. But then Frank Warren and Barry Hearn did a debate, and Barry Hearn said Fury's getting no more than 40%. So, which way? How are they going to negotiate for that fight? I don't know. Who's going to have to take the lower end of the stick? We'll just have to wait and see.
So, guys, today we had Dereck Chisora, Dillian Whyte, cracking fight. Dillian Whyte comes out on top. Let me know your thoughts of the fight. What you think Dillian Whyte should do next. Do you want to see him fight Joshua? Do you want to see him fight Wilder? Do you want to see Wilder fight Joshua? Do you want to see Wilder fight Fury? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.